What happened to the Geek? Please excuse the generated voice. I will explain later how this came to be. The Geek hasn't published a video in over 6 months. What's up? Work happens. The Geek's regular gig is a consultant and contractor on technology products, services and solutions. When it's dry and there is no work, you spend most of your time looking for it. When the contracts are flush, then you usually overcome it and you have no time for anything else. For some strange reason, one of my clients volunteered me to be the team leader, even though I wasn't an employee. It's tough to give direction and assignments to folks who just think of you as the overpaid contracting scum. Fortunately, they found a replacement after 4 months. Fate happens. The last couple of years have been tough with medical issues, so I decided to get a tattoo to celebrate my passages. Of course, as fate would have it, the phoenix rising from the flames was on fire with an infection. It got treated, and now it's looking good. Health happens. I've been using a keyboard for so long that I got trigger fingers, also known as locked fingers. This slows down typing and accuracy quite a bit. I had the surgery to fix this locked fingers, and then the bandages I wore make it almost impossible to type. Then, I lost my voice with a bacterial infection on the vocal cords. This is the reason. You are now listening to Peter's voice, instead of my poor Joe Cocker impression. Generally, getting older just sucks. As things get old, they break and need to be maintained. When you're young, you don't worry about it, because you're immortal. The maintenance cost for the human body costs a freaking fortune as you get older. This turns into working more hours to cover the body's maintenance costs, and less time for YouTube. This makes me sad. Life happens. I went to Florida to celebrate Uncle Carlo, my wife's relation, who turned 100 years old. He is not in a retirement home. He is in an awesome retirement community. These old folks could dance, drink and party until the wee hours, much longer than I could stay awake. The last thing I remembered was Carlo leading a conga line out of the community center over to the swimming pool. I want to have that much life. The general rule is that life doesn't turn out as you expected or even planned. Have some plans and be willing to switch quickly to one of the other ones, or even create a new one on the fly. The plan isn't important if you're not having fun. Technology happens. In my regular gig, I have to explain the process of how web applications work as a solution to a business problem. I found this great open-sourced tool called Commander, which helps to draw the process diagram quickly and enforces the rules of a business model. Problem with Commander is that it sucks at documentation. So my very first true JavaScript Node application was the Commander to ASCII Doctor generator. I would like to shout out to Brad Travesey and his YouTube videos, which helped me quite a bit. Brad seems to learn something new every couple of days, and his presentation style is paced well. I highly recommend, if you're trying to learn something that he has a video on, take some time to view it. I had started to use the React framework after the Angular folks started the let's pick a new version number game, and the hell with compatibility. I live in East Lansing, Michigan, and there is an innovation center here where there are 5 to 10 developer meetups a month. I listened to a presentation about the Vue framework from a guy named Chris Fritz, kinda quiet, but a commitment in his voice you just couldn't miss or ignore. he took time to explain the differences between React and Vue. I was able to speak with him for 15 minutes after the demo, and at that point, decided to switch to the Vue framework for most of my small to medium projects. I have not been disappointed. Later I found out Chris is one of the core developers of the Vue framework. Great resource to have nearby. Originally I was a coder, then I was magically transformed into a designer. I needed to stand up wireframes of what web pages might look like before we begin coding. I have used many tools to do this and found that Just in Mind has dynamic wireframes that can be data-driven to show more reality to the reviewers. The client gets to add suggestions, adjustments and new ideas during the wireframe process. When you're done, Just in Mind will generate documentation and screenshots. You can upload a copy of the generated wireframe to a server for others to review and experiment with. I will have a video series called Gym Bits, with very small bits of knowledge that show how to do that one small but important task. It's strange to have a client in current time that has just discovered the importance of APIs for data exchange. Now I'm hearing everything is an API. I think these folks are channeling Jeff Bezos. I see batch or bash files with hundreds of curl statements in them and no way to perform testing. I've seen SOAP UI API tests written with no automated test features. I've started to introduce the Postman utility from SmartBear. Its JavaScript testing language helps to leverage all the JavaScript talent floating about. Along with Newman, the automated runner, for the Postman test collections, these are the building blocks for our total automated test and documentation process, which can be built quickly and maintained as the API evolves. This is yet another opportunity for a video series on how the Postman knocks twice. My preferred Linux distribution, based on my customer's choice, is Ubuntu. Every time a new version comes out, even the intermediate ones, I have to learn the differences and have a dog and pony show ready. When Ubuntu 17.10 came out, I decided to try and produce some YouTube videos showing how to do those little things the customers asked the most about. Recently, Ubuntu 18.04 has come out, and I'm back on the instructor treadmill. I'm going to try a different video editing method. For the Ubuntu 18.04 Questions Asked series, I want to spend less time doing edits and more time explaining. What's a geek to do? I'm going to restart the YouTube videos, as I have tons of recorded video content in the can, waiting to be edited and published. I've made a do-it-yourself editing pad for Camtasia for my left hand. It has buttons to do some of the basic editing functions better than the mouse or keyboard. It also has a 3-switch foot pedal, which also contributes to the editing process. I plan to have a full build video on how I built this editing controller at a small cost. On a side note, my wife told me I looked a little weird while I was doing editing with this new setup. My left hand was twitching around madly and my foot was tapping to some unheard music. Ask any guy, and they will tell you they dread that "we need to talk" statement from the missus. The balance between job, career, family, and hobbies is difficult at best. But all the little things in life, many of them, will throw a spanner in the works. This will be a work in progress for me. My goal of producing 2 YouTube videos a week was just absurd. My subscribers seem to love that post-bag videos, but what's the use of all this stuff if you're not designing, soldering, putting out fires and having the occasional successful build that you are proud of? Failures are just a byproduct of learning. I love to learn how to build things and show others how to build them as well. I have had my fair share of failures, so I must be learning. My students or comrades get to skip that failure time and build better things quickly. Every time I get a new subscriber, I get that dopamine rush you're supposed to get when you gamble and win. Right now, my YouTube effort will continue to be my hobby, with the gradual goal of making some money with it after I retire. If you have ever watched one of my videos and liked it, click on the thumbs up. I don't care so much that it helps my rankings. It makes me smile and keeps me going. I like to talk with the folks who watch my stuff, even if they are trolls. Leave me a comment. I enjoy the conversation. I also manage a blog with more technology ramblings at geekmusthave.com. Come by and visit me. If you have any suggestions to help make the transition to the next YouTube level, I would love to hear from you. Thank you to the entire YouTube community, and especially to my small band of followers. My first 100 subscribers seemed to take forever, then I had to go offline for a bit, and the subscriber count almost doubled in half the time. Well, I'm back. I will be more paced and casual with my videos, as they seem to be easier to do. If you want to give an old-time, do-it-yourself maker a rush, then subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. Thank you, have a good one.